everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Criterion Watch. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. Sorry, it's been like a month without it. We went a month without it because I was supposed to do another episode, and then it just didn't work out for that one. So I chose to do this one, and I asked my buddy over here, Alfred Crane, who you might know from Hollywood Boulevard podcast, has been on Film Freaks with us. I think this is your first time on Criterion Watch, right?
It is. It is.
I was pretty sure of that. So, yeah, we've got you here to talk about Blood Simple, which I just dropped the Blu-ray. Blood Simple. This nice, beautiful. I guess right before we start, I will kind of give the extras and stuff that they have on this, so people know, because this is definitely like an awesome buy. You know, so it's newly restored 4K digital transfer, approved by cinematographer Barry Sonnenfeld and filmmakers Joel and Ethan Coen with 5.1 Dolby Digital surround sound. New conversation between Sonnenfeld and the Coens about the film's look, featuring Telestrator video illustrations. New conversation between author David Eggers and the Coens about the film's production from inception to release. New interviews with composer Carter Burwell, sound mixer Skip, Lewiski. Sorry if I get that name wrong. Leavesey, something like that, and actors Francis McDormand and Emmett Walsh, as well as trailers plus an essay in the thing like they always do. So anyway, we're here to talk about Blood Simple, everybody, on Criterion Watch. And so this was your first time watching it, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. This was my second, so you're not too, I'm not too ahead of you. I'm just one ahead of you. One movie, one site ahead of you. But yeah, first of all, are you a fan of the Coen Brothers?
I am. For the most part, I've seen a bunch of their movies. I couldn't tell you their whole filmography, but I really like a lot of their style. And last summer, I was on a No Country for Old Men kick where I was really watching clips of it and dissecting scenes and just being fascinated by just the story. It wasn't about everything else, just it was so engrossing. I wanted to know more about the characters. And
Totally. I adore the Coen Brothers. I think the first Coen Brothers movie I probably ever saw was Fargo, before I even knew who the Coen Brothers were, and because I was young. It was 96, I think, that came out, so I was probably in high school when I watched it and stuff, and thought it was great. I mean, Fargo was amazing. Probably still to this day, it's funny because that was my first and probably my favorite of all their movies. And this one would rank up there, probably in the top 10, but not in the top 5, I don't think. And maybe that's because I haven't watched it enough, but I do really, really enjoy it. I love this movie. So I guess we'll talk about a little bit about the story. The story is about a guy who finds out his was it wife or girlfriend? I couldn't tell which one.
I think it was his wife.
I think it was his wife too. His wife was cheating on him with the guy who worked with him, basically his employee at the bar that they worked at, the restaurant they worked at. And I don't know what he did. Was he a bartender or was he a...
I think that's what he was alluding to. Him and his other fella who worked there too were both, I think they're both bartenders, because there's a part where they're talking about covering for each other.
Yeah, and that's true. And the other guy had to work later because he didn't come in or whatever. And he didn't come in because he was cheating on the boss's wife, and got caught by a private investigator. And that's how the movie pretty much starts, with with getting caught already. And I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Usually that happens like maybe after the first act or something, but
Right.
like they really just went right into it, and I dug that. Like what I what I loved about this movie after rewatching it too is that it's one of those films that doesn't let up. There's like no
No.
boring moments in it. There's no slow, and like everything is like you don't know where it's going. So you're kind of interested the whole hour and 35 minutes,
Hmm.
and it's an entertaining kind of ride of the movie.
It's
Um,
amazing. Barry Sonnenfeld, wasn't he one of Tim Burton's cinematographers? The
I don't
name
think so.
the name sounds familiar for like
He was,
Men in Black.
yeah, he was the director of Men in Black and Adam's Family
Okay.
and a bunch of other like darker stuff, but he didn't. I don't think he did. Tim, did he do Tim? You
No,
know,
I was thinking at Men in Black. I had
oh,
my
you're
wires
thinking about Men in
crossed
Black. Okay.
because the scene opening of this movie is they're going down the road in the rain, and then Men in Black or Men in Black 2 had the same similar sequence. They're going down the road, and all the bugs were hitting the screen.
Yeah. Maybe he took it from his own movie, stole from
Yeah,
himself. I don't know. Or maybe
I just
that's a
thought that was
style or
interesting.
something. I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, it was entertaining. Them driving down the road together, just chit chatting about everything, and then they get caught, and then basically after they get caught by the private investigator, the husband wants them, killed, and I was
Right.
like, really, that's a little harsh. You could just fire them and just
Mm,
divorce her. Like, well, does he really need to kill?
right.
Like I mean, it's Coen Brothers movie. That's where it
Yeah.
goes. But it's just
Right to
like
death. Right to
I
death.
I know. Like it felt. There's a couple of scenes that gave me, like I told you earlier, gave me total anxiety. Let's get into that real quick. There's a scene. Okay, so everybody, if you haven't seen the movie, please watch it. Don't listen to us. Go watch it. Then come back and listen
Yeah.
to us,
Stop listening
because
now,
there's
and
going to
then
be
come back.
spoilers, like major spoilers. But so the private investigator is supposed to go kill the two people. He goes and it says he kills them, but he doesn't. He actually just, I guess he notices that he's got some blood on him, so he just takes pictures of them, gives them to the guy like as if they're dead, and says, "Oh, don't worry about the bodies and everything." Gets the money and then kills the guy, which
Right.
I'm like, okay, you could just like take the money and skip town. You don't have to kill this guy,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But he kills the guy, leaves, and then, and leaves, like, doesn't bury the body, doesn't do anything, just leaves the body left for dead, right? As if like either the guy's killed himself. I mean, it doesn't even look like the guy's killed himself. I mean, you don't,
No.
it looks like the dude was killed by somebody and the gun was just left.
And nobody took any precautions about fingerprints.
Well, no. He did, because the killer, the private
Yeah.
investigator did, because he actually had a cloth.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he actually made sure his fingerprints were not on. However, the other guy didn't. The other guy
Yeah,
had his
it's
like,
so stupid.
it
Like,
was a Ray or whatever.
yeah.
He's just like all touching everything. He touched everything. It's just like, I was like,
There's
I
people in
mean,
there. You're gonna clean it up with your members only jacket.
right? He like cleans it
What are
up
you
with his
thinking?
jacket, and like
If
I
I would
was
have
like,
saw that, I'd be like, well, fuck that. I'm out of here.
I know, right? Like he didn't need to do anything. He didn't even need to like dispose of the body. Like he could have called the cops, like at that point, and said, I mean, there was no proof he did it, or
Right.
whatever. It wasn't like, didn't look like he did it. Like I don't
I
understand
think once
that
he
at
saw
all.
the pistol, I think he thought she did it, and he was trying to help her out, like for the rest of the movie. Because I think the way he was making it like
That's
towards the
true.
end,
And he,
but I wouldn't have got to the part where I looked for the pistol and said, "Hey, this guy's dead. I'm out of here."
that's actually true. That might have been the case, because all right. So you might be right, because there is a point where the part I didn't understand is like the way that he was acting toward her the whole time, like acting like she didn't need to know everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like he handled everything. and she was looking at him confused,
Yeah.
and I was looking at like the TV confused, like why, and I'd seen this movie like before too. I mean, maybe I just that had never crossed my mind that he would have thought she did it. I thought, I mean, that guy's such an asshole that maybe anybody could have killed him. That
Right.
somebody just walked in here and killed him. There was no. It's not like he take her pistol?
He did.
Okay,
Because
that's
Emmett Walsh kicked it and it went under the one of the desks or drawers there.
okay.
And when Ray was looking around, then he saw it. Once he pulled it out, it wasn't until later on, towards the end of the movie, when he started saying, "Don't you know what you did? I fixed all your problems." That's when I was like, oh, "He thinks she killed him."
Oh shit, I missed that. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe I was just
It was right around the
in.
part where he gets shot by Emmett Walsh, I think.
Okay. All
That's when I
right.
was like, no wonder. And she's still
Oh,
in the
oh,
dark.
yeah, yeah. Okay. No, I remember that, but that still kind of confused me, like at that
Yeah.
particular moment, because I guess I forgot that she might have been involved with it or whatever. Or thought, yeah, or yeah. See, I still didn't put two and two together with that. Um, but so yeah, so what really drove me crazy and made my anxiety ramped up is he goes and puts him in the car
Oh yeah.
and takes him to go get, to bury him in the middle of like the desert or whatever. And what really drove me fucking nuts is that the guy wakes up, like he's alive.
Yeah.
And he like basically buries him alive. And he
Mm-hmm.
knows he buries him alive. He knows the guy's still alive. He doesn't kill him again, or anything. Which I thought that would be even funnier if he tried to kill him again and the guy still didn't die. But like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't even try, like he just buries him alive and everything. And then and he's alive. Like he comes back and he sends that guy, the other guy, he calls the other bartender, and stuff, I think, doesn't he? Like he calls the other bartender, leaves him a message saying
Yeah.
that all that's so he's still alive, you know. Um, but he doesn't come and bother the two of them,
Mm-hmm.
and so the two of them thought that the it was the other guy that was, that it was the husband that's coming after them, but really it's the private investigator. It's kind of like a comedy of errors in a
Yeah.
way,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, but like a dark comedy of errors. That's what I would call it, a dark comedy
Yeah.
of errors. And I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like I think the Coen brothers do that a lot,
They do. They could make something so simple, so turn into something so convoluted.
and complex. And
And the acting was so I felt like I was carrying his guilt for what he did. I mean, the way that the guy who was playing Ray was acting, like he just was like he was overcome with what he did, and he was trying to make it connect, and he wasn't getting any reaction or confirmation from Frances McDermott.
right.
He's like, I did this for you, and then he's like, what did you do for me? It's like this dance, and he's like, fuck it, I'm leaving you, and then
Yeah.
and
They get shot. Or there's
yeah.
that part, yeah, like he gets shot through the fucking back and shit, like that at one point.
It's like everybody dies. She was the catalyst for the whole thing, and she's left at the
Oh
end of the
man,
movie.
that was one of my favorite parts. Is the end of the movie where she puts the knife in the guy's hand, and she
Mm-hmm.
thinks it's her husband the whole time. So she says, "I'm not afraid of you." And he's laughing because she had shot him and everything. And he's like, "Oh, I'll tell him when I see him." Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
that's right. Because
and
she never sees him.
yeah, she
She
never
never
saw
sees him
him.
through the whole movie. Wow,
Yeah,
that's a
she
wow.
shot him and she never saw him at all. Like she shot him through the door or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was so funny. Like, oh, there's so many great moments in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's talk about the acting real quick because you mentioned like you really felt for the main guy. I honestly, John Getz, I think that's his name,
Mm-hmm.
that played Ray, and I
Mm-hmm.
honestly thought he was very, like his delivery was very one note delivery,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't know if that was a style that the Coen brothers wanted, or if that was just bad acting or whatever, because his character to me was, I didn't feel anything for him,
Hmm.
honestly. I felt kind of like this was just, like he was just kind of like monotone, the whole
Yeah.
time. And it kind of annoyed me a little bit. Um, but I noticed that the Coen brothers, I don't believe ever, and don't quote me on that, but I don't think they ever worked with him again. And I don't
No,
know
I
if
don't
that
remember him
was,
from the Coen verse.
yeah, so I don't think, but he's been in a lot of stuff. Like he's a huge, maybe because this is one of the first feature films that he ever was in. One of the first feature films Francis McDormand was ever in too.
Hmm.
And so let me bring up something that I learned. This is some interesting stuff. I got this. Here's 20. Well, I'm not going to do all 20 facts, obviously, but the Coen brothers think Blood Simple is pretty damn bad. 15 years after Blood Simple's release, the Coen brothers reflected upon their first feature in the 2000 book, My First Movie. It's crude. It's crude. There's no getting around it, Ethan said. On the other hand, it's all confused with the actual process of making the movie and finished the movie, which by and large was a positive experience. Joel said, "You can never entirely." You never get entirely divorced from it that way. So I don't know. It's a movie that I have a certain affection for, but I think it's pretty damn bad. Um, Here's another interesting thing I learned while doing some little bit of research is that Francis McDormand, Joel Coen wooed Francis McDormand on the set of Blood Simple. Coen and McDormand fell in love while making Blood Simple and got married a couple years later. After production wrapped, McDormand told the Daily Beast about the moment when she roped him in. I only brought one book to read to Austin, Texas, where we were filming, and I asked him if there was anything he'd recommend. She said he brought me a box of James M. Cain and Raymond Chandler paperbacks, and I said, "Which one should I start with?" And he said, "The Postman Always Rings Twice." I read
Hmm.
it, and it was one of the sexiest fucking books I'd ever read. A couple of nights later, I said, "Would you come over and discuss the book?" That did it. He seduced me with literature, and then we discussed books and drank hot chocolate for several evenings. It was fucking hot. Keep it across the room for as long as you can. That's a very important element.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, some cool like little bits. I was looking up some stuff for what I was mainly looking for was somebody talking about the fact that Joel and Ethan Coen direct the movies together. Yet, for the first like 10 movies or something, maybe less, the was it Ethan was never credited as the co-director.
Oh, wow. I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah, so Joel was always credited as director of the films, but they both directed them together. If you ever hear a Coen Brothers movie, I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
much
You don't
every
hear of a
movie.
Coen brother movie.
Just yeah, brother, yeah, just one of them. But they are amazing. I would die to work with them at some point, or
Hmm.
just even be an extra in one of their movies. Like honestly, if they were ever like, "Hey, we're casting for extras," I would jump on it in a second because
Yeah.
I mean, just being around them seems like you would be around creativity
Yeah.
and everything. Interesting side note to that too is Sam Raimi and Joel and Ethan Coen were good friends. I forgot. I think it was Joel edited Evil Dead with Sam, and then was telling Sam about this movie that he was doing called Blood Simple, and they thought, yeah, okay, like that movie's gonna get made.
Mhm.
And guess what? It did. And like both of them, I mean, the Coen brothers and Sam Raimi are huge. You know, you can't say that like one is bigger than the other, really. They're just huge in their own different ways, right? Um,
Mhm.
though the Coen brothers should direct a superhero movie. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Be
what's
interesting.
what superhero movie would you want them to direct?
It has to be something weird, like
Right.
bizarre. No, I have to think about that one.
Could you imagine them
Like
directing?
Ghost Tank or something.
Oh, really? You would think of something like like not as popular. I would think like Batman. Like, could you imagine
Uh,
Coen Brothers Batman?
that would
You know,
definitely be interesting.
I don't know who they cast as Batman, but it would definitely be one of their like main staples. George Clooney used to be one of their main staples,
Hmm.
and everything. Francis
Billy
McDormand would have to be in it.
Billy Bob Thornton was in a lot of their movies, wasn't he? Or just a
Ah,
couple.
yeah, Billy Bob Thornton. That'd be interesting. And not as Batman. Is he too old?
No.
He'd be Alfred.
Yeah, that'd be
Or
interesting.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Right? I mean, I don't know why they never, cast him. But like that's what I always like. I always like picking movies and like saying, it would be great to have them in this, or blah blah blah. Like that
Hmm.
would be fun to me. Um, but yeah, Blood Simple, I think ultimately this was a really fun flick. I really, really liked Emmett Walsh. I think
Yeah.
he was so fun. His delivery, like he makes me want to write fun dialogue,
Hmm.
because his character was just like I don't know, and he wasn't like new. I don't think at that time he had actually done a bunch of different things,
Hmm.
so he was sort of but he really I think he got more and more bigger gigs after Blood Simple, just like a lot of these guys.
One thing about the movie, it's rather timeless because nothing really dates it. I mean, you got like corded phones and some things, but I really like because it really didn't say this is the 1980s or late 70s or early 90s. It was just a period in time and in a rundown part of the country. You just had a beat up
Exactly.
Volkswagen, a beat up car. It's something you'd see today.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it seemed like it could be remade if they. I don't want it to be. Please don't.
Right.
But I mean, I don't think it needs to be. But it's still it's still something that could happen. You know.
Hmm.
Um,
It's a simple story. Like I mean, I don't want to call it like a simpleton movie, but it's a simple story of four people and their relationship, and it goes south.
right. I mean, really, three people in the relationship, and then the fourth one is kind of just like there. Like the uh I love how he starts like he calls the guy from the phone booth. He calls the husband from the phone booth, and he's like, "So enjoying your fishing? What'd you catch?" And the
Yeah,
guy's
he's
like,
like, ah.
"Yeah." He's just like, "Knock it off. I want to know what's going on. Did you do
Right.
it?" And stuff like he didn't
Yeah.
want some small talk. He wanted to get right to the thing.
Yeah, Dan Hedaya was in a lot of movies, and I remember he was in Commando, which I just watched again, and Running Scared, and he's been in several of my favorite movies.
It's funny because the first movie that I recognized him from ever when I was growing up was Clueless as the dad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And he had one of my favorite lines in that, and it's something that like my dad loves because it's like it reminds me of reminds me of my dad and reminds my dad of my
Uh,
dad. There's a scene where was it? They're like, "Oh, hi, Dad. This is Ty," right? Like she introduces him, and he goes, "Get out of my chair." Like
yeah.
that's what my dad does. My dad
Uh,
literally, and then after Clueless, he made sure to like keep saying that, get out of my
yeah.
chair,
Yeah.
like
In Running Scared, he played Billy Crystal's and Gregory Hines' police boss, and he had a line in there: "You two are detectives. Go and detect."
he's always plays like such a like asshole, I guess, kind of thing.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was though he has somewhat of a heart in Clueless. Like his
Yeah.
character kind of he was kind of an asshole, but like he was understood asshole, I guess.
Yeah.
Like he had to be a strong father.
Hmm.
But yeah, I loved it. I loved him in it. I loved Emmett Walsh. I love Frances McDormand. I mean, she's always wonderful. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
it's funny because I said that they were like friends with Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, all of them, and what was the other one? I'm not sure who. I can't say who it was, but there was another actress, one of the people from like Big Lebowski or somebody. from one of those things. They all stayed in a house together in LA. Used
Oh,
to live
wow.
together. And so it's funny. The only reason I know that is because I read about it. Josh Becker talked about it in one of his stories, and he used to. Everybody else stayed like had their own rooms, and he like stayed in the garage or something, you
Hmm.
know. And he said like he was the only one who didn't pay rent, and he's the only one who didn't get famous.
Wow.
All right, like everybody else.
Don't
So he's
stay
like,
in the
maybe if I,
garage.
or pay rent, maybe
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah, yeah.
famous. I don't know, but like everybody else, like their like careers skyrocketed. But like, could you imagine being in a house with all of them?
That'd be awesome.
I know, like just like that would just be very creative area, Like
Right.
that's what I want eventually, in LA. Like to be in a place where everybody is just thinking about working on movies and what we're going to do and how we're going to take over Hollywood and
Right.
that kind of stuff. Um I bet that's what they were doing, like they were like, we're indie now, but wait till we make our next movie, Raising Arizona. That
Was that
movie,
their second movie?
there was their second movie. Can you believe that? Like that movie like really put them somewhere, like got them
Mm.
going. And so this movie paved the way for everything else. If they didn't make this movie, they probably wouldn't have been able to raise the money for Raising Arizona, and everything. So that movie is phenomenal as well. I mean, everything they've done, I can't say a bad Coen Brothers movie. Not even Lady Killers, which is not like what is one of my least favorite. Still a damn good movie, you know.
Hail Caesar, I heard that one was kind of disappointing.
Really, I enjoyed it. I
I
liked it
haven't
better than
seen
Lady
it.
Killers. What
I
I
haven't seen it. Yeah, I watched
I
some friends
enjoyed
with.
it, especially if you're into like the Hollywood stuff. Like
Mm,
it really is kind of fun to me.
okay, I'll check it out.
Speaking of which, I love how your fan is whirring around
Yeah.
because some of the shots in Blood Simple were just so amazing. But like just the low angle shot of the fan whirring around. My
Hmm.
other favorite shot is the one over the bar.
Yeah.
Like that shot. I felt like it was a Sam Raimi shot, honestly, because it felt
Hmm.
like one of those gliding things, like
Oh
when
yeah.
when evil, maybe they learned from the Evil Dead, honestly, because there's like that scene where it's going up over. I just absolutely adored when Barry Sonnenfeld did. I didn't even realize that was Barry Sonnenfeld that did it. Um,
When his
and then
name popped up, I was like, oh yeah, he's the guy who did Men in Black.
yeah, fantastic director, fantastic cinematographer, just fantastic person. It seems.
Hmm.
What else? The music was amazing. Had a
Yeah.
I love the simple kind of piano thing. You hear it more now, but back then I bet it was like sort of new,
Mhm.
and fresh. That composer has gone on to make a bunch, like
Like,
hundreds of stuff.
it's like Hans Zimmer or John Williams. They just started off and then bam. It's
Yeah,
usually Carter Burwell and like him and T Bone Burnett's getting to that level too now with all the work he's done on like True Detective and Crazy Heart and a few other movies.
it's amazing. It's funny because they got, and a lot of them got their start on this movie and stuff. So I think Barry Sonnenfeld got his start, and working with, because Barry Sonnenfeld worked with the Coen Brothers for a while before he
Mhm.
broke out. Like he did like Miller's Crossing, I believe, and a couple other of their movies. And what's great about that is the Coen Brothers have a specific, like they do love like camera movements, and they love
Mhm.
tricks and doing cool stuff. My other favorite thing was when uh Dan Hedaya is like talking to John Getz about because John Getz wants his money, and they're
Mhm.
outside, and you hear he would say something, then all of a sudden the bug zapper will go off.
Yeah, yeah, it was like, "Brr."
Yeah, and I was just like, I mean, like they timed it perfectly. Like they
Mhm.
got everything. It just, it was so great. And what I once again, it goes to them and working with the cinematographer and them as editors too. I think the Coen brothers edited as well. Is like that everything is precise. Like
Yeah.
everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to in a way,
Right.
like every frame is filled the way it's supposed to, everything is I mean, there's just so many, and there's so many amazing shots, like the scene uh with John coming out of the after him was it Dana Day getting his uh finger broken or whatever, coming outside, like in his without a shirt on. That scene,
Yeah.
like right there, just felt like, I mean, it felt like cinematography, even though it was a
Yeah.
simple shot,
Right.
like it. So you watched on HBO Go, right?
Right.
How you liking HBO Go so far? Is that the only thing you've checked out, or?
Pretty much, I've checked a couple other things. They have a lot of Criterion movies on there, like you said. They don't have the full catalog,
All right.
but they
I
have a
mean,
bunch of them.
well, there's also the Criterion channel. So I'm wondering, like, if there's crossover of like stuff that's on the Criterion channel that's on there, or um, there's also a free place called Canopy that has Criterion as well.
Okay, I got
It's
that with my library card.
Yes, exactly. So Criterions are on Canopy. Not a lot, but like maybe 20 movies or something, or less. Um, I think maybe 15, something like that. There's some on there, but there's a lot of Criterions and other TCM movies, Turner Classic
Yeah,
movies as well on
I'm
there.
looking
So.
forward to digging into that for the next few days and see what comes up.
So are you just doing the free trial, or are you gonna actually, like spend the money on it?
We'll
Do you
see.
think?
I got it set up to be paid for after 7 days, so
Yeah.
I'll just take a look and then if I turn it off, I do. If not, then I gotta do some research, figure out if it's worth it. But with Turner Classic Movies on there, that's money in itself.
Right. I mean, and those, like I watched a Cary Grant movie the other day.
Mm-hmm.
That was on there. Bringing Up Baby. And I'd
Mm-hmm.
never seen that before, and I thought it was the oddest freaking movie. Like, I hate, what the hell is up with like the 30s and 40s having these oddball fucking weird movies. But it was hilarious, but it felt like a movie that could be made today, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if people were seeing a leopard walking down the street of fucking
Yeah.
New York or something, they'd probably Connecticut, they'd be freaking it the fuck out,
Yeah. Yeah.
they'd be calling the Tiger King back, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
Um, but anyway, I love HBO Go, or HBO Max. Sorry, that's HBO Go was what it used to be, and now HBO Max is the big,
HBO Go, HBO went.
yeah. HBO gone.
Yeah, HBO gone. Bye bye.
Bye bye. It is literally gone. They got rid of that. It is still HBO Now, I think, is still there, but now all they do is change it to now HBO Now. All it is HBO Max
It's like
stuff. So
Spaceballs. When was then? Now is now. Now is
yeah,
then.
yeah. When will then be now? Soon.
Now. Soon. Yeah, soon.
Oh man. Oh, why isn't Mel Brooks on Criterion? I don't know.
Oh.
Like I feel like he deserves Criterion. Um, I feel like honestly, a lot of times, like Criterion gets a lot of the more independent films and stuff because a lot of the other companies like Universal and everything don't like to give their rights away to Criterion, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. Like even Chasing Amy is on Criterion, but on DVD, but not on Blu-ray, because
Mm-hmm.
Miramax didn't want to, or whoever, Weinstein or whoever didn't want to bring them back, for it or something. I don't know. All I know is this movie, Blood Simple, was pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Um,
I got sucked in. It's just the Coen Brothers. It sucks you in. It's like, what's going to happen? You know, it's not going to be good.
is it something you'd ever watch again?
I probably would, yeah. Not right away, but it was definitely one of. It's just a basic movie. It's believable characters, and just like it's like, what the fuck, man, you guys.
I
It's
think
like
that
I feel like I'm going, don't see the guy's dead. He's the central part of your problem. You're not going to get blamed for it because there's no evidence, and then you're going to start cleaning up. Once you start cleaning up the blood, I'm like, no, don't do that. And then I see he did a. Well, this is before Pulp Fiction, but they put he put the body in the car. Like, no, don't do that. You know, just
and then you know the body's alive. Take him to the fucking hospital.
that's what I was like. I mean, it's like,
Like,
well, you didn't do it.
right.
You
But
found
then
him.
now that you said that, now it made me like, if you were around me at the time, maybe you would have caught that originally anyway to me,
Mhm.
like, and I would have, it wouldn't have bothered me so much if somebody explained this to me. But like, I would have just been like, take it to the fucking hospital, take him to the hospital. But you would have been like, if he takes him to hospital and he admits that the wife killed, tried to kill him, you know,
Yeah,
so
that
like
that makes
really
more
what he,
sense. Now we're
yeah,
really walking it back.
yeah,
Yeah,
now
because it's
now it
like,
all makes sense. But like originally I was like going, take him to the fucking hospital because like there's no reason for you
yeah,
to just bury this guy alive and
yeah,
he could basically somehow get free maybe because
yeah,
nobody who's ever buried alive ever stays there. You ever watch movies? That never fucking
yeah.
happens. Like every movie I've ever watched, nobody who's ever been buried alive ever stays there. They come
No,
back, you know
even if they're dead.
even if they're dead, especially if they're dead, they come back. Um, Sometimes they come back.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was thinking
Yeah,
that.
Stephen King. Oh man. But yeah, I absolutely adore this movie, even with the stuff that bothered me like that, But now that like it makes sense of what his actions were,
Yeah,
and
now
stuff.
once we trace the line back, now it's like, oh, now that's what he's doing. Because I made the connection later on, but now we go all the way back because he seemed like, what the fuck's going on until he found the pistol. Then he's like, he didn't take any action to change anything until he saw the pistol.
Well,
He's
the
like,
only thing
oh
that
shit.
really bothered me too, that I didn't think about until just now, but it bothered me when I was watching it, was the fact that she has that dream about him dying or being
Yeah.
dead, and then he says like your husband killed me. When did she even know that information
Hmm.
or even like suspect him killing her? Like that was strange. But
Yeah.
we're in the world of the Coen brothers. World of the Coen
Yeah.
brothers is strange.
Hmm.
They are very strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved it though. I really felt like this was a fun, kind of thrill ride.
Hmm.
You didn't know what was going to happen, but you just enjoyed it, throughout the whole thing. So I would recommend if anybody has a chance to watch it on HBO Max or has it, because it's funny. I bought the movie having not seen it, but knowing it was A. Coen Brothers' first movie, and B, knowing I've heard really good things about it. So I was like, all right, I'll buy it. And if worst comes to worst, I just have it in my collection for Criterion. I've done that before too. Like I bought the In-Laws with having not seen it, and my family loves that movie, but I thought it was trash. Did not find it funny. I did not find, and everybody talks about The Big Chill, and I was so excited for that. God, what a boring stinker of a comedy
I
to me.
haven't seen that one.
The only good scene in that movie is the scene everybody talks about, which is them dancing in the fucking kitchen, you know.
Hmm.
But those are two movies I will not do for Criteria Watch myself. If Paul wants to do them or something, that's on him. I won't be involved because I really did not like them.
Where's
But
Paul tonight?
I think he's at his sister's house or something.
Okay.
Not that I don't think he won't he won't get HBO Max, and he's not gonna
Mhm.
watch this movie again. He's not gonna buy it, Um,
Right.
but yeah, maybe he would have. But I figured he does sometimes he does his own ones, with his people, people he picks and stuff. So
Okay.
sometimes we we separate. And then sometimes we come back. Like tomorrow, we're doing Indie Film Cafe together. So I mean, you never know. I mean, it just depends on what we wanna do. You know,
Well, there's several Criterion movies that I have my eye on. I think would be good ones, so I'll share those with you.
yeah, share it with me afterwards. We'll talk
Mm.
and maybe we'll do another one next year about it. So I think we have one more for mine, for me, and one more or two more for Paul, or one more for Paul. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think Paul has two more, and I got one more.
Cool.
So I've got one I want to do that if I can find it and everything. So
Cool.
yeah. I think Tom Conkle recommended it. So Tom that you
Okay.
met on the Film
Yeah.
Freaks, and I'm like, okay, that would be a perfect like closer for me.
Nice.
But yeah, so I won't say what it is yet. But I'll tell you after. I won't say it in
Okay.
here.
I'm privileged.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, like, because I don't like to announce something that may not happen. We may change our mind because we had another project or another criteria we're supposed to do that didn't happen. So I'm guessing that's going to be next year. But that's going to be a big one.
Nice.
You know, a good one. That I can't wait to do. But this one, I felt like Blood Simple was kind of a perfect one to do. That's almost at the end of the year, you know. So kind of
I
a
always get
simple.
excited when a Criterion movie comes out to Janus Films. You're like, oh, I'm in the upper tier now.
Oh, is that are they like the elite indie kind of thing or something?
But just whenever a Criterion thing comes up, you see Janus Films, and it's like they're the people who did the restoration for it.
Oh, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, before every Criterion movie that comes out.
And did you notice, like on, I don't know, do you have a 4K television?
No, I do not.
Oh, you should get a 4K television. But
Well, I've got this console TV that's like 17 years old that hasn't died yet, and it's still got a really good picture. So it's like weighs 3,000 pounds, and I'm not going to move it until it dies.
You shouldn't. No, it's. I'm just saying it's the 4K restoration for this looked amazing. I mean, I bet it looked amazing on your TV too, but it looked, I mean, was pristine. So it looks great on all the 4Ks on the Blu-rays, and HBO Max did a fantastic job keeping it 4K, I guess. I mean, it looked 4K, you know, so or at least like major HD, you know, stuff. So it was good. I enjoyed what I saw. I can't wait to dive more, like you said, dive more into them, because I mean, there's so much. I'm paying $20 a month now. Half of it is, you know, Hulu, and half of it is, you know, HBO or whatever. But you know, $20 a month for both of those, you know, amazing. Hulu is great, you know.
Yeah.
So I mainly got HBO. It's funny because I mainly got HBO Max for Big Bang Theory, because there's some days I just want to watch Big Bang Theory. I don't know why.
Right.
You know, but anyway. All right. Well, I guess we'll end it on there. On that
Sounds
note,
good.
I had a great time watching this movie. I enjoyed it, and I think everybody who checks this out will also enjoy it. I think they'll have a great time.
It's Coen Brothers Origins.
Exactly. Everybody enjoy watching this stuff. Let us know what you guys think of Blood Simple. I think a lot of people love this movie. And I think it's definitely got some big fans. So would love to hear what you guys think. Also, starting, so we're going to release this on Friday. So this will be on a Friday. The following Friday, September 4th, we are releasing the Indiegogo for Sick Flick TV to try to raise money for this for Sick Flick TV's original content, including Supernatural Assassins, which a lot of the people that work on our podcast will be involved in. So please donate when that comes out. We'll probably do another one, or have Paul will mention it on his next Criteria watch, I'm sure. And I'll put the link down when when it comes out in a week. But please check that out. We really appreciate any donations, any help. And check out our podcast. We got a lot of podcasts. Alfred, tell us about your podcast that you're doing.
Performance Enhancing Films. It's a podcast where we interview performing artists in comedy and acting and painting and what movies influenced them and shaped their performances. It's a pretty new one. We're recording our 20th episode Saturday or Sunday this weekend, and you can find it on Libsyn at Performance Enhancing Films. And I'm also doing some Charged Particles sketch comedy with my comedy group, and we've got a few other projects we're working on too. So yeah, Push Comedy Theater in Norfolk, Virginia.
Awesome. I'm excited about that. Like, I'm excited that you're doing all this comedy stuff. So keep doing it, bro. Take video of all the stuff that you're doing and put it on YouTube.
Will do. They're also doing they're taking submissions for their 666 writing contest. It's their annual like horror anthology series they put together, and they take what they do is they have six stories are accepted. They have 6 directors and 6 cast members, and they do all 6 stories within those confines. So they have one director. It's a pretty neat little thing. So
is the director the writer, or is there another? When you write, you submit your script. Do you have to direct it, or does somebody else direct it?
No, they have someone else direct it and someone else act it.
Okay, very cool.
It's a pretty neat thing. I've submitted twice. Didn't get selected, but I got some feedback on them.
Did they already? Are the submissions over, or
the 31st is when submissions are they're cutting off submissions Monday night. Is Monday the 31st? Whenever the 31st is. So you can go to Push Comedy Theater's Facebook page, and they'll have some info to that. Or if you want, you can give me a note, and I'll get you the information for it.
Awesome! Thank you so much. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
I would love to. I would write for. How long do they have to be? Do you know?
Like 15 minutes, so not more than 12 pages of script.
Okay.
Because they're going to do. Usually they do it live, but this year because of the pandemic, they're going to do it like recorded.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I hope that works out. I hope. Because did you submit this year?
I'm going to write something. I've just learned now if opportunities come to write for something, just write and submit something, even if it's at the last minute. Just get your name out there and get your ideas out.
Try it. Yeah, I might actually submit. So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, why not? 15 pages is nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes me like maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on, I actually just wrote 10 pages earlier. So, you know what I mean? Like if I'm in it, I'm in it,
Yeah.
But I want to thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want to keep checking more Criterion Watch, we'll have each month we'll have a new episode. So Paul's is next month in October. Then in November I'll be there again. And then wait, does that work? So yeah, I guess something like that. So yeah. I think maybe Paul's So keep checking back, and we're excited. We can't wait to find out more information about all the stuff that you're doing and have you back on for another episode.
Sounds good, Jonathan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.